just 24 hours away from NBA free agency. But here's the report you need to be made aware of. Kyrie Irving, y'all. Kyrie Irving allegedly planning on meeting with the Phoenix Suns. Now, remember, Suns already added Bradley Beal. So what is their roster currently? Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and now Kyrie Irving is planning on a visit. A sign and trade could potentially be worked out with the Mavericks if indeed the Mavericks do have legitimized interest in acquiring DeAndre Ayton, and Kyrie Irving has even more legitimized interest in going to the Phoenix Suns. Shady, when I think about this combination of pieces, this would be maybe the most name brand star-studded by back of jersey names team since that Lakers team that had Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Shaq, and Kobe. Like, this would be an iconic by names team. This is no small deal, no small potential announcement. But does Kyrie to the Suns make sense for you?
I'm going to say yes. I mean, it's not too many teams I can say that Kyrie won't make sense. It's Kyrie Irving. I think when I watched him play, and even after we got traded from Brooklyn to the Mavs, he put up some numbers, though. All right, he was scoring the rock. He was, top 5, I think, in fourth quarter points. Like, he was holding it down. So I still think he has that type of take over the game type of mentality, though. I think we miss who he really is because he off the court things and et cetera. But it is Kyrie Irving. So now you have Bradley Beal, you have Devin Booker, you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. You can put us on the bench. We'll make it happen. Seriously, we'll make it happen, though. So I love the move. I just think that, like now, I think Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving can finally, finish what they started. And we thought in Brooklyn we would get this, but Kyrie's off the court stuff. And then even when KD had some injuries here and there, you never get to see them focus and watching them play together. We didn't see that. So if we get a chance to see them in Phoenix, oh, my God.
But, Shady, what we've realized, though, is that, adding stars doesn't necessarily add chips. That's why I don't love the move. I don't even love the thought of the move.
But this many stars? This is some different stars right here, though.
This is some stars, but what are you going to get out of it? I mean, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, James Harden. We didn't know what that was going to do, and ultimately it amounted to nothing. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, an injured Chris Paul, a late arriving Kevin Durant. Obviously didn't have a ton of time to mesh together. Right. Did get past the first round, but you saw what happened when they ran into that beast
Only a couple
of the
games.
Denver Nuggets. Only a couple games. I believe only 11 games prior to the playoffs at most. It might have actually just been 8 in the regular season. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul. But when you add all these stars, Joy, I just don't know that it makes sense. It doesn't to me.
Why would you need Kyrie Irving? There's one ball. There's one ball. There's only so many shots that can be taken. You have Kevin Durant, the god. You have Devin Booker.
He shoots. He likes to shoot.
He likes to shoot.
He likes to shoot the ball.
He shoots that ball.
And he should shoot the ball. He should be shooting the ball. That's just 2. Bradley Beal.
He be shooting.
He averages quite a few points a game.
Yes,
in order to score that many points, you have to shoot the ball a certain amount of time. And now Kyrie Irving. What is the main thing that each of these guys do?
Get buckets.
There's only one hoop and one ball. It's too much. If there was more of a dynamic two-way element to this lineup of stars, then I would be into it. Or if they hadn't added Bradley Beal already. But you already did that.
Yeah.
So Bradley Beal and Kyrie Irving, it's nice to have a lot of good, but you have all of the same thing. Where's the defensive presence? Well, you're certainly losing any of your height if you get rid of DeAndre Ayton, which you would have to do in order to get Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving would have been extremely valuable in that role that Bradley Beal is playing, but Bradley Beal's already there.
Right.
So I just don't. It sounds good. It's stars. It's exciting, but you also have quite a few extra roster spots that you have to fill out. And as we've seen time and time again, this really happens with every championship, but we've got a lot of this year in the postseason. Those role players, those bench players, they matter. And if you don't have a good bench or a player on a bench that doesn't know what they're doing, Jordan Poole, it can ruin the season. So I love the idea of it if they hadn't already made the Beal move.
Yeah. I'm with you. I actually proposed the potential of a DeAndre Ayton for Kyrie Irving swap before the Bradley Beal deal if KD and Kyrie wanted to prove it wasn't us, it was them in Brooklyn. That's the reason it didn't work. And then I'm going to give you a theory that I have here is that I believe that the reason that KD has not yet quit Kyrie Irving is because he wants to prove that he and Kyrie can do what LeBron and Dwayne Wade did. that they are boys and that we can accomplish the same things that those two did down in Miami. That on some level, KD's always been in competition with LeBron to say, I can do what you did and I can do it one better. But at some point, Shade, and we'll talk to you because you're the one who's waving the flag for this. At some point, you got to realize, you know what? I know what I want to do, but the circumstances are just not going to allow me to do it. And that's the case with the Phoenix Suns right now with Kyrie Irving. Because trading DeAndre Ayton, the last big man that you talk about being small, then they're going to be really, really
he did a lot.
tiny small.
He did a lot in the last game against Jokic.
Okay, but that's
sarcasm.
That's the last piece.
You can't let him go. He's so dominant.
I'm not saying not let him go. I'm saying if you let him go, don't go get me another guard. Go get me another big.
But one thing y'all keep saying is about all this and that about the bench. How we know that Bradley Beal or Kyrie Irving won't go to the bench and they're okay with that? Because one thing I feel like, even that for the Suns to interview Kyrie Irving, it had to go through Booker. It had to go through KD. You know what? That'd be a good idea. Yeah, bring him in. So once you do that, now everything, the egos are out the window. Because now I know it's only one ball. We all know that. We're all scorers. But if we want this type of player to come here, or if we want Bradley Beal to come there, which they okay, we know that we now get the shots that we all want. And I feel like a guy like Bradley Beal, a guy like Kevin Durant, they can gel in any scheme.
I think that sounds good, 2-5, and you know, because you've been in these situations before as a high-level athlete, everybody has an idea in their mind until they have to live out the reality of it. That's why people say, don't date your crush, don't date your fantasy, because it all sounds good in your head how you think it's going to go, and Shady smirking. You're telling on yourself with that smirk. It sounds good with an idea of how you think it's going to go until you're actually in that situation, because there is only one ball. Kyrie is not going to get the shots he wants to get. Bradley Beal is one of 4 players to average 30-plus points in 2 of the last 4 seasons. So you know he has to get his shots. Joyce already alluded to it. Kevin Durant, you know he's a multiple-time scoring champion. His shots will be taken. Devin Booker is probably the best scorer currently of those 4 players.
Right.
So Devin Booker has to get his shots. And in theory, it's Devin Booker's team because he's been there significantly longer than anybody else. So I just think it's very convoluted. These guys think it makes sense, but to me, when you're actually living it out, everybody will be.
Here's the other part, is that there are different types of scorers. If any of these guys were Ray Allen, if any of them were a catch-and-shoot type scorer that don't need the ball in their hands to get theirs, I would say, look, honestly, I had a talk with my son this morning about this, and he said, "Did you see this?" I was like, "Yeah." And I go, "It's crazy." He goes, "It doesn't make any sense." He goes, "But I kind of want to see it." Like there's a part of me that I'm with you, Shade. Like, I just want to see it because it's so crazy. But in terms of believing that it would work, like if you just gave me some guys that don't need the ball to create their shot so that they could play off of whoever the ball dominant 1 or 2 guys are, I might be able to go along with you. But I just don't see how you make that work.
Can I ask you a question? So you can't manipulate the minutes, right? Like you even with Luka, even with Kyrie, you see how they might have Kyrie playing a little bit longer with the bench to give them some offense.
Yeah.
So now if I have 4 of these dudes, though, not 2, but 4 of them that can score at any given time, I can't manipulate the times or the minutes so I can get some guys on the bench and et cetera?
There's an argument to be made there because of load management. Except you've invested so much money in these guys, if you're going to juggle their minutes, so you're not going to have all 4 on the floor all the time.
I mean, you can, like the different periods. Start the game off, then maybe you want to close the game.
Right.
But
now you're going to need more supporting cast.
Here's my thought, though. We keep talking about the Suns, but Joy, do you think it makes sense for Kyrie? Because Kyrie is the player who goes to Brooklyn, and he recruits Kevin Durant. And then we acquire Steve Nash, even though they didn't necessarily want a coach. Then Steve Nash gets a run-up out of there, and Kyrie's like, you know what? Without telling Kevin Durant, that's word on the street, he goes to Dallas. Now in Dallas, you fall from the 6th seed in the playoffs, I believe, when Kyrie showed up, all the way to the 11th seed. You don't even make it into the play-in. Some say the Mavericks tried to tank. There were some tanking allegations there. Now Kyrie can hit free agency. He'd have to take less to go to Phoenix, just based upon cap numbers. I won't bore y'all with the numerology of it all. But does it make sense for Kyrie Irving, not the Phoenix Suns?
I mean, what does Kyrie have to prove? So, I think Kyrie, at this point, all he cares about is playing basketball and being happy. I don't think that Kyrie's in the conversation of I got to go win a championship outside of LeBron or anything. Like that kind of phase of Kyrie to me is past. Like we know what Kyrie is at this point. That's why I don't blame what happened in Dallas on Kyrie last year. You know what Kyrie Irving is? You guys were bad defensively before you brought in Kyrie Irving. You brought in Kyrie Irving, you expected to get better defensively. That's not Kyrie's fault. That's not what you brought him there for. So I don't know that it makes sense or doesn't make sense for Kyrie. I think Kyrie's main goal at this point is to play well and enjoy where he is. So if he's not happy in Dallas and he wants to go to Phoenix, that's fine. To me, this move being about like friendship or proving something wrong, to be honest with you, I don't even think about Brooklyn anymore. I'm so happy to be not talking about that mess. Done with it. I've put it behind me. I don't even remember. You're talking about it's like a buried memory. I'm like, I need a therapist to dig into that. I don't even want to talk about Brooklyn. I don't care. It was a disaster. There were many layers of why that went wrong, and I don't blame KD for all of it. I don't blame Kyrie. There's plenty of blame to go around. At this point, Phoenix is trying to build a champion. Does Kyrie Irving put you in a place to win the West and get to the finals, knowing what you're going to have to go up against in the West? It's not just shooting that you need. You got shooting. You've got lots of shooting. Kyrie is a shooter, and I would love this if Beal wasn't there. What you're going to need is size. What you're going to need is depth. What you're going to need is defense. Who's in the West? Who are you going to have to get through the West and get to the finals and potentially win a championship? Kyrie is a great player, but Kyrie is going to work best in a situation that allows him to be Kyrie. It's not about egos to me. It's about literally, do these players fit together and the way that they play put together a formula to win a championship? And in the West, I don't know that it does.
Here's what's fascinating to me, Slick. I have one thought, rebuttal to it before we take it home to break. I don't know what value Kyrie currently adds to a championship team anymore. And I don't say that as a slight. I say that as a genuine statement. I'm not saying I don't know what value he adds derogatory. I'm saying quite literally, I am not sure what value Kyrie adds. So I'm hopeful that somebody would tell me.
Why?
He's not a defender. He's not a conduit to success. He's not a conduit to other players around him getting better. He gets his own buckets, but quite literally, how efficiently does he get his own buckets? And at what cost is Kyrie Irving getting buckets? Because when Kyrie Irving was getting buckets with the Dallas Mavs, you saw Luka was not having those 58, 20, and 10 games. Those 50, 18, and 10 games, Luka was not being talked about nearly as much once Kyrie showed up. So I don't say this to be derogatory. When Kyrie Irving was with the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown had to take a step back. He could not come into his own. Now you see Jaylen Brown as a second-team All-NBA caliber talent, at least in the regular season. So I genuinely am curious, not saying this with any disrespect. I'm curious as to what value do you think Kyrie Irving can provide to an aspiring champion team?
Well, that's what's so crazy about this conversation, like that we would be adding Kyrie Irving to the Phoenix Suns with what end goal? To win a championship?
Yes.
Joy just said she doesn't know that that's what Kyrie's end game is. So why would Kyrie be going there other than it would be to play with KD, to play with his buddy and to hang out and to do that? And this whole thing is not the heart of it is, what does Kyrie want? Shade, you're the Kyrie expert on this.
I mean, we can't say he don't want a championship. We can't say that.
What do you think he wants?
Yeah, what does he want?
Talk to him.
First of all, I'll say this. I think that I don't know if Kyrie Irving has a super big market like people may think.
No, I don't think he does.
Okay,
I think you're right.
So that's one part of it, right? So this, and then out of other teams, this may be the best team or option for him because they got a lot of players, and two, they're gonna pay him a certain amount of money, and Kevin Durant is his man.
Do you think this would be better for him to go to Phoenix than to stay in Dallas and try to finish the job that they started?
Well, we can't even start to finish. I mean, he don't know Luka like that. They got there half the season. That ain't his man. So KD is man. I'm gonna say this. I think that yes, it's probably better.
KD's got some other men like already.
Pause. Hold on.
I'm just saying. I've got Booker Beal.
That Kyrie should go over there with the Suns and build that thing together. That would be nice. Only what, 2 of them got championships?
Mm-hmm. At a minimum, it would be very fun to watch.
He be doing that. Kyrie Irving in the air in Phoenix. I want to see it.
We might see it like once a game. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.